This episode is brought to you by the Boneyard Huskies Club. The Boneyard Huskies Club empowers UConn student athletes while providing UConn fans with access to exclusive community, utility, and rewards. Purchase of collectibles featuring your favorite student athletes directly supports the athletes since they receive a majority of the revenue. For more information, go to boneyardhuskiesclub.com. That's Huskies with a YZ at the end. Can't believe it's time to start talking some spring football and looking ahead to next season. So joining me back on the podcast is Coach Mora. Coach, welcome back.
It's my pleasure to be back.
So I want to start with this one. Looking back on last year, your first time back on the field as a head coach for a little bit, how was it for you personally being back out on that field and getting to coach the team?
No, it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I did miss it. And I was fortunate to be able to come to a place where it's just a lot of really great people, our players, our staff, people in the athletic department, made it a pretty seamless transition back into the world of coaching for me.
I remember when we talked last year and I asked you how you might be judging success for the team. You said it might not necessarily always see that progress on the scoreboard, but you did for a lot of the games. Did the success that you guys have last year surprise you at all? Or as you went through the offseason into the season, you started to realize this team, could be a bit better than people had expected?
I mean, I felt that really from the start, that with just a culture that held everyone to a high standard, a culture where everyone kind of believed in each other, supported each other, a strong work ethic, all those things. I thought that we could, do some things that maybe people didn't expect us to do. And, I think it all starts with our players. We have a really good group of young men here. They work hard, they care about each other. Winning is important to them. Winning the right way is important to them. They put in a ton of time on the field, off the field at their craft. They take to coaching well. They're just a pleasure to coach. And I felt that pretty quickly when I got here last year. And I kind of knew that those qualities, if they were directed in the right way, and, we put them in the right situations on the field to utilize their talents, that we could have some success. And, to me, as I've gone through this off season, I've just felt more and more cohesion amongst our team. And we've added some talent. Some of the young guys that have talent have now gotten some experience. And so that talent is starting to shine, but we've got a ton of work to do. I don't consider last year a successful year by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think that, a 6-6 regular season record and an 0-1 bowl record equates to success. It does tell us that we're on the right path, though. And now we've just got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and demanding excellence every day.
So I've got a two-part way to look at this question here. And I'm curious because I was talking with Coach Hurley the other day and was talking to him about the mindset and how he helped his team get through a swoon where they had lost 6 of 8. Last season, you guys go through a gauntlet of a schedule. You go through a tough stretch there. How do you keep everyone in that mindset to keep competing the rest of the year, especially for a team that had been pretty beaten down over the past number of years? And then the second part is, how does an experience like that help shape some of those returners and learn from that experience for this year?
Well, it's a challenge, certainly. We only get to play 12 games, and in many other sports, baseball or basketball or hockey or the lacrosse, they play sometimes multiple games a week. And so you can jump out of a slump pretty quickly. I think Danny did an amazing job in that 6 or 8 game streak of not letting his players stop believing and not becoming inconsistent in his approach to how he talked to his players or how they practice. He just stayed the course because he knew he had a great team. He had a bunch of really good men. He knew he was, surrounded by a tremendous staff, and he had confidence in himself. And that was based upon the success he'd had, and it paid off. And I think for us, it's the same type of thing. Even though we may have to wait a little longer to play that next game, you have to stick to what you believe in, and still make some adjustments along the way. For us, as you said, we went through that gauntlet, and we were sitting there at 1-4,
Yeah.
and it would have been really easy, given the lack of success over the years here, for the players to say, "Oh, here we go again." So we had to continue to do the things that we believed in, and yet we had to find a way to not let ourselves slide into the old "woe is me." And once again, to me, it's a credit to our players that they just rejected that the feeling you may have to go, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of comfortable. They decided they weren't going to be victims, and they took it upon themselves to just come in every single day with a great attitude and a great work ethic and believe in what we were doing, and it started to pay off. And then when it started to pay off, we started to gain some momentum. And it's interesting because talking about how we judge success. One of our most successful moments as a team last year was in a loss, and that was a horrible loss at Ball State. And I come back to this a lot with people, because people always think that you break through in a win.
Yeah.
And really, to me, we kind of broke through in a loss, and it was in the attitude and the anger and the frustration and the disappointment we felt after that game that indicated to me we were on the right path, because we'd finally earned some hope.
Mm-hmm. As you look to make that jump from your first year to year 2 here, what are you looking for as some of the keys that for this team to take it to the next level?
Well, I think that the key thing for us is that we have to be a mentally tougher football team, and in critical moments, we have to find a way to make a play rather than our opponent make a play, eliminate a mistake that we may have made last year. Every game has, every play is critical. You never know when that critical play is going to be, but you get in the red zone, you can't have red zone penalties. You get a team to 3rd and 9, you can't jump off sides and make it 3rd and 4. You get yourself to 3rd and 2 on offense, you can't have a false start and be 3rd and 7. Yeah. It's knowing where to line up. It's executing. When the ball's thrown, it's catching it. It's when you're in position to make the tackle, it's making the tackle. It's at those moments in a game when, it's a gotta have it moment. Yeah. that we are mentally tough enough to make the play that enables us to win the game. And I think that that's the step that we're really focusing on making right now as a football team. And I see that happening.
When you're in the offseason, I know everyone tends to immediately jump towards the quarterback conversation. As you're going through the spring and heading into the rest of the preseason here, how do you go about evaluating these quarterbacks during a competition, and one that seems relatively open?
Well, that's a great question. There's a lot of ways you evaluate them. I mean, metrics, obviously, we keep track of, every statistical component that you can think of with regards to them in practice. So we know, beyond just completion percentage, decision-making, who they're throwing it to, drop ratio, the ease of which a ball is thrown, enabling a receiver to catch it. Are they moving the team? You certainly are looking at the intangibles that, you read through a practice in terms of leadership ability, handling pressure, excelling in critical moments. When we have our 2-minute drives, and those are really critical drives, are they getting the team down the field and getting the ball in the end zone? We certainly look at critical errors. We look at retention. Certainly, being able to take a learned play in a meeting room onto the field and execute it. And then how are their teammates reacting to them, and how are they handling success and failure? So there's a lot of things that go into it, and at the end of the day, you kind of jumble all those things together, and, you come up with the guy that you think is the best person and the best player to lead your team from that position.
One more question on the offensive side of things. Last year, obviously had a number of true freshmen who came in, whether it was Zion, whether it was, Victor, who made big impacts on the game. How impressed were you to see guys come in as true freshmen and be able to perform at the level that they did?
I was impressed. And I think it was tough on both of those guys. Certainly Zion, he didn't have his top 2 receivers. He wasn't going to be the starter. And then 2 series into the season, he is the starter. we struggled to throw the ball because of a number of reasons. Number one, we had a young quarterback who was learning the system. Like I said, we didn't have our two top receivers, and we were trying to work our way through that. But just his ability to stay focused, remain confident, stay poised, that was really impressive. And then the load we ended up putting on Victor, certainly you look at the Michigan game when Nate Carter went out and Victor had to take over as the starting running back, the punt return to the kickoff returner. And it's, game 3 or 4 for him in his college career. He's from East Bristol High and now he's at the big house. And yet, look, he stumbled a little bit along the way, but, before midseason, he hit his stride. He ends up scoring 11 touchdowns, being incredibly dependable. He's tough. He's smart. He's competitive. Players respect him and really love him. I love having him on our football team. And, those are just 2 examples of, I think, many, because they were the most prominent examples. But to me, those 2 guys are kind of what our football team's all about. We're going to kick and scratch, and we're going to compete our tails off, and, we're going to try to win it.
Hey, between him and Victor and Donovan Clingan, I think you got to keep that Bristol pipeline going.
Yeah, no kidding. I think Victor's a little jealous right now. Donovan's getting a lot of the hype and acclaim, and I think Victor's a little bit motivated to reclaim some of that glory that he had in the fall. Donovan stole the thunder from Victor.
I like it. A little friendly competition there.
Sure.
Looking on the flip side of the ball, and I'm not just asking this question because he comes on throughout the season on the podcast, but Jackson Mitchell, obviously a key piece on the defense. What does he mean to you and your team? And then throw in the factor of having a homegrown talent like him on the team and what that means for this program.
Well, I mean, he's the glue on defense. He's so dependable. And he has such a great knowledge of our scheme. And then he has just an overall great knowledge of football. Like he has instincts, as they say. He understands the game innately. He's an excellent tackler. I think one of the most underrated parts of his game is his ability as a zone cover guy. He just kind of gets himself in the right position to make plays. And he doesn't say a lot, and he's very well respected. And so when he does open his mouth, there's impact in the words that he says. And then having him be a Connecticut kid, that's huge. Having Victor be a Connecticut kid, that's huge. It shows the young men in this state that if they're really good people and they're good students and they're good football players, that there's a place for them at their home university.
Yeah. I've got to ask, now that you've been here a little over a year, more settled into the role, has anything about the position, about being at UConn surprised you or caught you off guard? Maybe you didn't expect it at UConn, but now you've seen it.
Yeah, maybe a little. Just I was told, and I don't know, I don't think any one person told me this, that there was a little bit of an apathy towards football from our fan base, which would be understandable based upon, some of the recent, events.
Yeah.
But what I found is that although there weren't always the largest numbers of people in the stadium, those that were there were passionate and they were rabid and they were loud and they were, they were bringing energy. And, you reflect back on the Liberty game when I believe that was our smallest crowd of the year. And yet you'd have thought the place was packed.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that type of enthusiasm for UConn football. So that was awesome. And, I think it's going to get better and better. It's up to us as a team to keep earning, the right to have people want to spend their money on coming watching us play. I mean, that's incumbent on us. And, we're determined to do that. But it was fun for me to feel an enthusiasm that I didn't know was going to exist.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, that's a good type of surprise. So we'll take
it was a
that.
Great surprise, and it was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
It was a big deal for our players. I mean, anytime they can walk out on the field or go out and play on the field, and there's people that are passionate. It doesn't matter if it's 5 or 50,000. Well, it does matter. It does matter. We'd rather have the 40 or 50,000 than the 5. But it wasn't so much the number of people that were there. It was the people's energy that were in the building.
Oh, good. All right. Well, it's again a better surprise than walking into a haunted house, right? So,
I have to do that every night.
um, as we look to the spring showcase that we've got this weekend, for people coming out to it, what can they expect to see and see out of the event on Saturday?
It's going to be like a simulated game. We're going to practice live. I mean, it'll be
Mhm,
live tackling. We don't have enough players to split our team into like a blue and a white
mhm.
and go against each other. We just don't have that depth right now. In spring, you've lost some of your seniors and some of your freshmen haven't come in, so we're a little low on numbers. And I'm always concerned about the health of our team as well. But it'll be a situational practice. We'll do a little one-on-one, receiver versus DB, a little pass rush, so you can get a feel for the individual player, which I think is always fun for
Yeah.
fans to see. We'll do goal line, we'll do red zone, we'll do backed up, we'll do sudden change, we'll do 2 minute, we'll do some third down stuff. So it'll be a very competitive practice. And I think what people will get a feel for is not only the individual players on the team, or what we're doing on offense or defense, but the competitiveness of this team.
Yeah.
We keep scoring all of our periods. It's not always a traditional 3 or 7 type of score,
Yeah.
but it's a very competitive practice. And I think it's a great opportunity for people to kind of get up close and personal with this team, get their first look at it, get a feel for some of the guys maybe they've been reading about. And hopefully a lot of young people come out. We love it when there's kids there and they're wearing, hey, I don't care if they wear their, hey, UConn national basketball championship shirts. As long as there's something on there that says UConn, I'll be excited.
I like it. Just a few quick ones here as we wrap. I know there's been a lot of conversation on Twitter about the possible sad dog jerseys and helmets there. What are your thoughts? You bringing those forward?
I don't get the sad dog thing. Like, okay, so just so you know, we put that out on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Okay. And all of a sudden it caught legs. And I'm like, have they ever used that logo before?
It's been out there. It's an older one, but I don't know how much it was seen on uniforms or anything of the like. But it's something that's kind of become one of those viral social
I don't
media.
think I don't think we're going to see that one. I do think though that there's a time and a place for the block C. I
Yeah.
don't know that it's our everyday logo. I don't know that it isn't either. That's not always just my decision. I think it's pretty. I think sometimes some of those things that are so traditional, it makes it a little bit more fun if you bring it out at special times. Like
Yeah.
last year we wore the block C for our military appreciation game.
Yeah.
with
Those
the
are
red,
awesome.
white, and blue in it, and it made it kind of a special thing. And so I love our uniforms. I think they're very traditional. I think they're classy. I think they're clean. We'll probably infuse a little red in there eventually. But kind of messing around with the helmets every once in a while, as long as we don't go crazy, I'm okay with that. I know
All
a
right.
lot of people are going to like it, and I know there's going to be a faction of people that don't like it. But
Can't
we
please
don't really ever
everybody.
want to move too far away from what is traditional for this place. When people turn on the TV, I want them to know that it's University of
Yeah.
Connecticut playing football, not have to guess.
Yeah. I know one thing that caught on last year, whether it was with the players or the fan base, it seems like you weren't the biggest fan of the him Mora thing. Is that going forward this year, or are you done with that?
That wasn't my thing, man. I don't make that decision. I just listen. The last person this should ever be about is me. It's about our players and it's about the university. And so I thought it was funny, but it was embarrassing. And I just it's about our players. It ain't about me. I guess it was kind of cute. I definitely didn't go buy one of the shirts or anything like that. I can promise you that. To me, it's all about the players that are out there playing the game. And,
Yeah.
that's certainly why I coach for them. And I want it to be about them.
While we've been in the off season, I know it got brought up during the NCAA tournament how Coach Hurley's wife has tried to get him some hobbies and got him into painting a little bit. Any off season hobbies that you have that we might not know about?
I have a lot of hobbies. They're outdoor. I like to be outside.
Yeah.
I like to hike, mountain bike, fly fish, ski, skin. anything that's kind of going uphill or a challenge, that's what I like to do. So I've just recently realized that there's some really, really great fly fishing right here around UConn.
Oh,
So,
wow.
oh yeah, one of our players, Colin McCarthy, he's a big time fly fisherman. So he's going to show me all his secret spots here when we're done with spring ball.
All right, I like it. I like it. And I'll wrap with this one. I know the Husky Revolution really got a lot of traction last year. You've got the reload for this year as that overall mantra heading into the season. Tell us a little bit about that before we wrap here.
Well, I'm not going to take credit for that one. That was someone much more creative than me. But I can tell you what it means to us. It's just we got to reload and keep attacking. Basically, we're not going to retreat. And every day, we got to kind of reset our mindset to go out and attack and be the best that we can, and never rest on anything that we've done positive. Always try to get better. Never allow complacency to enter the equation. And I guess kind of let's just keep reloading and keep firing, keep reloading, and keep firing, and keep advancing, never retreat. And that's our attitude.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate the time. I know everyone's already getting excited for next year. Everyone's excited coming off last season, and a lot more to look forward to this year. So thanks so much for coming on, and best of luck in the rest of the offseason and as you get ready for the season to start.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Anytime.
All right.
I'm going to take a quick break from the interview to tell you about my friends at Martin Rosol's Meats. This fourth-generation Connecticut family business produces kielbasa, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats using Martin Rosol's very own original recipes. Their products can be found in grocery stores, delis, restaurants, and hot dog stands throughout the state. And if you're looking for your fill right away, check out their retail store in New Britain. For more information, visit martinroselsinc.com and go support a UConn fan-owned business. And now, back to the interview. All right, spring showcase for football right around the corner this weekend. So joining me, we've got Jackson Mitchell back on the podcast. So Jackson, welcome back.
Appreciate you having me back. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, so take me through what has the off season been like so far? I know spring workouts going on, but what have the past few months been like for you since we last spoke in November, December?
Yeah, so like Marshall ended, obviously we kind of all went home for a break. I ended up getting surgery on my wrist just to fix up a past injury. And then we came back in January, and Coach Mora said like we were starting everything over again pretty much. Like we gotta, like last year was cool, but we gotta work to get better and improve on where we last finished. So we got back to work when we got back in January, workouts for a while. And I think about a month ago we started spring ball, and we've been doing that now for the last couple weeks, and now we're finishing up this Saturday. So
what is spring ball like? Is it very competitive this time of year? Are you guys easing back into things? What's it like come this time of year?
Yeah, I think it's really competitive just because, everyone's getting reps. Everyone's fighting for their spot. There's no spots anymore because the season just ended. New guys came in, guys left. So everyone's kind of trying to fight for playing time in their spots, and everyone's getting an opportunity because obviously we're not preparing for a game. You can really focus more on like your skills and your technique and just understanding the game of football because you don't have to put in game plans or study opponent film, that type of thing. So just really competitive, I would say.
What's it been like from your perspective in terms of parts of your game that you've been focusing on so far in both the off season and now in spring ball?
I would just say like my physicality. I know like I make a lot of tackles, but just physicality, getting off blocks and trying to make more TFLs and just the better with my eyes and reading defenses or offenses a little bit better, just so I can make more TFLs and be a little more physical at the point of attack with offensive linemen.
How do things feel going into this season, knowing that this is year 2 under Coach Mora? You're a little bit more familiar with how he wants to run things. So what has that been like in terms of getting up to speed now and being comfortable with his system?
I think it's really exciting for everyone because obviously on offense and defense, we're now in the system for 2 years now. So we expect more. We think we can put more things in, more exciting things because we've obviously kind of really got down the basics of both the defense and the offense. And I would just say the expectations are now a lot higher than they were. Last year, it's the first year. There's a lot of like excuses, I guess, that people can make for us because, it's the first year with a new coach and new system and everything like that. So But this year there are really no excuses. Expectations are high. We've won 6 games last year, made a bowl game, and people expect us to improve on that and do better than
Yeah.
last year for sure.
What do you think are some of the keys in this team making that jump? Say from a 6-win team, I don't want to throw any specific number out there, but taking to the next level, and being in a position to take this program to the next steps.
Yeah, I think Coach Moore has really stressed our mental toughness this offseason, just because there are a few games you see there that we could have won. Games like Ball State and Utah State where we were winning at the beginning, and those are teams that were very beatable on our schedule that easily could have been 8 wins instead of 6. So we're just mental toughness, I would say, for sure.
So take me through, what is the spring showcase going to be like from your perspective and all that's going on this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked really hard the past 14 practices, just working on our game to improve. And we've done a lot of workouts in this offseason to get bigger, faster, stronger. So just excited to get out there in front of fans and they can see the 2023 Huskies and what we've worked on and what we're looking like so far. And obviously, we'll probably add a few more guys after the spring like we always do and improve on that. But should be exciting for the fans. I know they're excited. They're coming off basketball season, a really excited season, but now it's like pretty much onto football, I guess, and they're excited to see what we're working with, and I'm excited to put on a show for them.
Yeah, for fans who are going to be going on Saturday, as one of the leaders of this team, give us a couple names of guys who have impressed you so far through spring ball to keep an eye
on. Defensively, I would probably say guys like Malik at safety. He's really made a lot of improvements. He'll be a good guy in our secondary. Also, like our whole defensive line, like our defensive line is going to be really strong for us this year. Guys like Eric, who's coming off 7 sacks last year, is going to be really impressive for us. But also Price, Dalmont, Jelani are all going to be really big for us. And I think it's exciting for the fans also to see like our new linebacker core. I mean, we don't have really any returning players for the linebacker, so it's exciting for the fans to see what we've been working on in that room. Then offensively, I mean, you're going to see a loaded running back room again, which we had last year, but was hurt at times last year, I think. But this year, it's going to be really loaded again. We brought in Jay Mitch, who's a really good player. And we got Vic, obviously, and Devontae and Bruton, who are also really explosive and fast guys. Then I think fans will be excited to see Cam Ross back on the field. I know he hasn't been able to play in a while, but like he's better than he was his freshman year for sure. Obviously, we played together as freshmen, so it's really exciting to see him back on the field.
Yeah, that's awesome. Give everyone a few names there to look forward to. I've got to ask, because I know UConn football put it out as an April Fool's joke with the sad husky on the helmet. Would you be in favor of playing a game with those?
Maybe not that logo, but we could put on a T-shirt or something. But I'm definitely in favor of some type of uniform. I know Coach loves uniforms, so hopefully we can figure something out.
Yeah, and then just to get some insight into what life is like for you, what are things like over the next few months as you head towards the summer here?
Yeah, so obviously spring ball will end, and then I actually graduate this semester. The first week in May, we have graduation. And then I'll go home for like about 2 or 3 weeks and just train at the place I train with at home, Overdrive in New Canaan. And then we'll come back. I think we come back May 29th. So it's kind of a short break, but then we're back to work and we're back to grinding. And that's kind of where we're going to put in like everything that we saw, like the flaws, I guess we saw this spring. Like that's what we're going to work on over the summer, or just really honing in on defense as players, and then also just getting in the weight room and getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah, and you've given some great message to the fans in the past, but give the message, whether it's to make sure they got their season tickets, come out on Saturday. What's your message to UConn Nation here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this year. This year, I think it's going to be the best year you've seen in a really long time, and has the potential to be that. And we're really working towards that, and we're saying it every day, and we're excited for it. I would just say, like, I mean, I would say last year, Syracuse maybe, or Boston College was probably the biggest crowd we played in front of since I've been here, but I'd like to definitely top that. I feel like NC State is a great team to play at home for the first game, week 1. It'll be nice out. It'll be September. I mean, why not come out and support the Huskies?
Yeah, no excuse not to make NC State this year. But Jackson, really appreciate you taking a few minutes to come back on. Great getting to catch up with you, and we'll get ready to do these again heading into the season.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.